You are looking at the top available players left in the transfer portal. Of course, some of them will explore the NBA draft, like RJ Luis, and others not yet in just yet. And so to discuss that and more, I'm going to bring back Travis Branham, the czar of the transfer portal. Trav, when it comes to players who we think are going in, but aren't technically in the portal just yet, that means we have to start with Rob Wright. The news hit yesterday that we were expecting him to go into the portal. 24 hours later, he is not yet in the portal. What is the latest with the freshman guard from Baylor?
Yeah, so when a player announces their intentions or tells the coaching staff, files that paperwork, they have 48 hours to put their name officially into the transfer portal, in which schools can start contacting those players. And so I would anticipate Rob Wright will probably be in this time tomorrow. And by all accounts, it does sound like he will for sure be hitting that market. So speculating on schools that I think will probably look to get involved in guys that really need a point guard right now. First and foremost, you got to look home at Villanova. He is a Pennsylvania native, played for Team Final in the Nike UYBL circuit. And obviously, since Kevin Willard has taken over the job and Jacoby Gillespie did not follow him, he has a massive need for the point guard position. It sounds like they will have the resources to make a real run at this thing. Other schools you have to look at, like Florida, North Carolina, who lost Elliot Cadeau. And again, on Florida, losing Walter Clayton and those types of guys, they have a massive void. And then also BYU, a school that has been in the market for a point guard for some time, looking for somebody to partner alongside A.J. Debinsa, the #1 overall player in the 2025 recruiting class, and seeing what Kevin Young has done and build this system. They're looking for that point guard who can really get them over the edge to make a Final Four run next year.
All right, Rob Wright was a top 30 prospect in last year's class of 2024, but on our re-rankings, we bumped him up to top 20. I'm just not sure there's many more reliable floor generals in all of college basketball next season, and that's pretty impressive considering he is a true sophomore, or he will be a true sophomore. All right, Trav, next player for you is Wesley Yates III. He is in the portal, and I'd say one of the best available players of this second wave. What do we know about where his process is at right now?
Yeah, when he immediately hit the portal, there was a lot of talk regarding Kentucky, and Kentucky has been one of the schools involved, but I've also heard talk around Miami and Washington, and I think this is going to be a decision that's probably made rather soon. And if I'm having to place my favorite or my bet right now, I'd probably place it on Washington. But with the needs of some of these other schools, and as we've learned throughout the course of this transfer portal and every portal cyclist, things can change on a dime. But those are the three schools right now I'd be leaning with Washington.
I remember he previously played for Washington when Mike Hopkins was the head coach. So this would be a Kevin Marfo, as they say, which means he's going back to the place he left. Let's talk about Xaivian Lee. You mentioned him as a possible replacement for Florida, or maybe it was Bossy who talked about that, as we know that Todd Golden will need a starting point guard. But as one of the best available lead guards in this market, I'm assuming the Princeton transfer has a lot of options. What do we know about where things stand with him?
Yeah, there's been a lot of speculation around him throughout the course of the weekend when he first hit the portal. Four schools that I've been hearing are Kentucky. Even though they just got Jalen Lowe, they could use another scoring option alongside of him. Florida, as I said earlier, Duke was one that's been speculated, depending on what happens with these stay and goes and departures with that program. But also BYU, again, as I was just saying, they're in the market for a guard, and Xaivian Lee is among those at the top of the board right now. So I think this one is another that probably in the next 5 or 6 days we should be getting a good, clear answer on.
Xaivian Lee went to the Perkiomen school, same school that Thomas Hoke went to. Just saying. Who knows if there's anything to that? Just thought I'd bring it up. We talked a little bit about BYU being in there for Rob Wright, but they are losing someone, and that's Kanon Catchings. I thought Kanon Catchings really kind of exceeded expectations this year for Kevin Young, but he is nonetheless in the portal. He was at one time a Purdue commit in high school. What do we know about what he may be looking at?
Yeah, he actually, just before the dead period closed, he was on campus with the Georgia Bulldogs. But this one's going to continue to drag out. Obviously, he has strong ties to the new North Carolina general manager in Jim Tanner, and he is expected to be taking a visit to see the Tar Heels following the dead period. And if he makes it to that visit, Obviously, Georgia has put themselves in a good position here, but anytime you see a kid taking this long to wait to take a visit before making a decision, you can't help but give the tip of your cap to North Carolina and bet basically when he gets on campus and when he completes that visit. If they haven't taken anybody else at that point, I would anticipate that he'll likely be a Tar Heel.
All right, so if Catchings is going to be a Tar Heel, that impacts the next guy we're going to talk about. That's Ian Jackson, the former 5-star recruit. He is in the portal after his freshman year. As far as I know, he did not declare for the draft, or at least declare for the draft yet. There's been speculation that he could be headed home to St. John's. Of course, there was speculation about that a year ago right away, I should say, when Rick Pitino got that job. So what is the latest? Is Ian Jackson headed home to play for Coach P?
Yeah, I think that's probably the likeliest situation here. St. John's is definitely in the need of a market in the market for guards after losing Davon Smith and Gadari Richmond, and obviously RJ Luis. So with that being home, with there being a big need there, I do anticipate that St. John's will be a big player in this recruitment, and probably the team to beat. But there are other schools still looking for a guard just like him, and the one that I immediately look to is John Calipari and the Arkansas Razorbacks. He recruited him hard out of high school, finished second in that recruitment when he was at Kentucky. And this could be an opportunity here after losing a guy like Nelly Davis, that maybe they go really hard at him, despite that they have 2 5-star freshmen incoming in Malik Thomas and Darius Acuff. He would bring a little bit more experience. And again, there's a familiarity there. And then another team, again, Kentucky, could be in the guard for a scoring guard on the wing to go with another talent, and Jaden Quaintance down low and Jalen Lowe on the perimeter with him. So there's going to be a variety of options, but still, my team to beat is St. John's.
All right, Trav, let's talk a little bit about high school recruiting. Today's April 8th. Nate Ament was supposed to commit on April 1st. That did not happen. His process has been constantly evolving. You alluded to earlier that he could be certainly a candidate at Duke. They may even be the favorite, but this thing has evolved seemingly very consistently over the last few weeks. What do we know about the best available player left in high school basketball?
Yeah, it seems like there's been a little bit of movement now that the seasons are all officially over. I would expect that we probably get a reset commitment date here pretty soon. And the schools that I'm hearing the most now, and it's changed, as you said, consistently. Right now, I still give the very slight edge to Duke at this moment, but the team I'm looking at behind them now is Tennessee. Sounds like Tennessee has made up some ground, and Louisville has now lost ground in this recruitment, with Kentucky now in third as the dark horse of this recruitment. So this thing has changed every single step of the way, and it would not surprise me, and rather I would expect it to continue evolving in some sort of regard before this announcement is officially made.
All right, and tomorrow we are expecting a commitment from Brayden Burries. I mean, I don't want to totally spoil the kid's moment, but this has been trending in one direction for the last few weeks. What are you looking for tomorrow?
Yeah, he's been down to a handful of schools, but as we have reported and stated on here, there's been one school that has steadily popped up, and that is Arizona. And if I have to make a prediction right now on this show, I am placing my prediction for Tommy Lloyd and the Arizona Wildcats to land his services. This kid has had a stellar high school career, one of the most college-ready guards in this entire high school recruiting class, a guy that can come in, score double figures for you, put up 4 rebounds, and also add 3 or 4 assists to a night to a team. And there's been rumblings maybe USC is in the background and really murking things up and could be the dark horse here. But regardless, I'm still leaning with Tommy Lloyd and the Arizona Wildcats.
All right. As always, Travis Branham, a wealth of information and inside information. You can find lots more of his work over on 247sports.com. We've got recruiting rankings, wall-to-wall team coverage, and transfer portal updates. You can get it all on 247sports.com.